Hello and welcome back to your 10th Java intermediate tutorial. I totally spaced out for a second. So anyway, as I said last time, I'm going to rush this thing because it is Christmas Eve and I have to be ready for church in about like an hour and a half, and I haven't even started getting ready. So this tutorial, luckily for me, is actually going to be, and for you, is actually not going to be a half-hour long tutorial like that string one was. It's actually going to be a quick one. So we're going to be talking about generic methods. So when we were talking about generic types, I kind of, said, oh, you can do generic methods, and then just kind of brushed it off. So generic type, as you can see, it's declared up here, and then you can use it throughout the entire class. So, but sometimes you don't really need to have a generic type for the entire class just to use a generic type. So one thing you can do in Java is actually just have a generic method. So let's make a tutorial 10 generic methods. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So com.sshs hs.gd 10. I probably have screwed that up every single tutorial. So I'm going to make a main class and I'm going to give it a void. Okay, so let's close everything else. Oh, I accidentally clicked close off. So how do you make a generic method? It's actually kind of easy. So first we need to make it static because we're going to be using it in here. Static, and then we give it the generic type right here. So it's after all the modifiers. So say we're going to make this private. It's after that. After the scope and the modifiers, that's where this goes. So I'm not going to make this private. It doesn't matter. So static, and then we give it that, and then we do the return type. So it's in between the return type and the modifiers is where you declare its generic type. It's almost like its own modifier. Get type name. So and then you can just use the type wherever and whenever you want, as long as it's within the method. So we're just going to return t.getClass.getName. Alright, so now we're just going to make object O equals new object. And let's just do sysout get type name of O. Not 0. O. Java.lang.object. You can do scanner in equals new scanner. Give it in. And it does it for scanner as well. Or system.in. You don't need to copy the scanner stuff. So as you can see, it's a scanner. I could put, get simplified name, but we're just going to do get name down right here, right now. So O. Okay. So java.lang.object. So it works with anything that we give it because it's a generic type. And this .getClass is in the object type, so it can be used by any type. So now, do keep in mind that it has the same rules. You cannot do primitive type. So if you were to do an int, int, whatever equals that, you actually can't do get type name of A because this is, apparently you can. Integer. But it's going to do that. It's going to act as this integer right here. So you can't just pass in an int to that. I don't know why I was thinking you can't. But anyway, you can't use primitive types when you're doing it for an entire class. So okay, so now let's make another algorithm since we're going to be doing a little bit more algorithms. So we're going to do a static, and then we're going to give it a generic type. Boolean list contains, and then we're going to do a t value, a list of t, list, and a boolean equals. So this list is just an interface in java.util. It's pretty much just array list implements it, stuff like that. So it's going to return false. But sometimes it's going to return true. So for TT, we're going to do a for each loop in the list. And okay, so remember we were talking about strings, we had that equality thing. So that equals is going to tell us whether or not it's going to be using the dot equals method or the double equal sign. So if equals, it's going to check the equality using the dot equals. So if t dot equals value, return true. And then we want an else if t double equal sign value, return true. And if this doesn't, it's not going to return anything. And if it makes it to the end, because when it returns, it breaks out of the whole method. So that's why this return false can just be down here. Okay? So now we have that. So let's just make a simple array list. We're going to actually make 2 array lists to kind of show it, this little algorithm. Integer int list equals new array list. There we go, and you can go ahead and put integer. But as you know, with generic types, you don't have to put it again in the new statement. You just have to do it when you're declaring it. But that's fine, you can do it there too. So we're just going to add a bunch of integers. So int list dot add, just copy this. We're gonna do 4. So 278, 200 or 321, and 5. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to sys out list contains. We're going to give it. We're going to check if it contains 2. We're going to give it int list, and it's going to check. And it's just going to check with the double equal sign. True, because it's using an int, which is just a primitive type, or whatever. It's even if you did true, whatever. I think if you were to do new integer here too, and do false, it might return false. Yep, there we go. We do new, so same thing with string. If you do new, but we use true though, it's going to return true. So yeah, there we go. And then if it doesn't contain it, or this is actually false, because we're just doing the numbers, true, false. Okay, and then we're going to make another string. So array list string list equals new array list string. Okay, and we're just going to do string list dot add lorem, and then string list dot add, and then just to show it again, I'm just going to do dot add new string ipsum. Alright, so sys out, we're going to do list contains. So we're going to check if this list contains ipsum string list, and then we're going to check if it equals, we're going to use true here. So we're going to use dot equals method, and as you can see, since the value is the same, it's going to be using true. It's going to return true. But if we were to do this again, but using the double equal sign, it is false. So let's know, that's why we have this little option right here. So say you wanted to go into the list and you wanted to check the exact instance of what you're giving it, so you can, remove it. That's why it's going to be using the double equal sign to check the instance of it. To delete the instance of that part of the list, not just something with the same value. Or in case you do want to do something with the same value, then there you go. So that's why you really need to understand this dot equals and double equal sign. But this is pretty much how you do a simple algorithm to check whether or not a list contains a certain value. And you can do the same thing with just a normal array. So static t boolean list contains, you just do t value, and you just do t-array list. Yeah. And boolean equals. And then the algorithm itself is exactly the same. Just using an array type instead of just a list. But you don't need to worry about that. So, yep, that's pretty much it on generic methods. I didn't include in the generic types one because I didn't feel it was necessary, and also we didn't have the basic understanding just to understand like how this worked. You know, I wanted to make this list contains algorithm for you guys, and that's really what I wanted to use generic methods for. And you guys didn't know, you know, all this equality stuff until the last tutorial, so that's why I waited. So yeah, this was a nice short sweet tutorial. I think it was like 10 or so minutes. Let me check. Yeah, only like 10 minutes, so that's good. So yeah, have a good day, and see you next time. Bye!